Hi everyone, I'm the Plant Propagator and welcome to my channel. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what I do, please subscribe to my channel. Today it is a beautiful warm day in Southwest Florida. It's 86 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 30 degrees Celsius, and the orchids are just loving it. A lot of my cattleyas are putting out new pseudobulbs. My phals are all blooming, and it's a good day. Things are looking pretty good. What I want to do today, well, first of all, is explain to you that I probably will not be posting another video for a week after this one. I am participating in the show and sale of the Gulf Coast Orchid Alliance here in Southwest Florida, and I'm actually going to be conducting a workshop at 3 o'clock on Saturday on, surprise, orchid propagation. So I've got to get things organized for those. I'll try to get a video posted about the show itself so you can see what's going to be or what was at the show. For today, what I want to do is tell you a little bit about what's going on. You see that my phals are blooming. I do want to show you a couple of things. And I've got this catasetum that is just doing, it's putting out some blooms for me. And this is Fred Clark After Dark Black Pearl. And this has bloomed for me a number of times. It just keeps on going. And the fragrance on it is just great. It's also putting out some new leaves, a new bulb. So I think this is the tail end of the flowers that I'm going to get on these. Most of my other catasetums are already well along in putting out a new bulb. So this is probably the last one of this. And I actually want to show you one more thing, and that is another Fred Clark item, and this is a little tiny thing that I normally don't grow, and it's yellow, which I normally don't grow either. So this is something that Fred recommended to me when I saw him a few months ago. He recommended this, and he did this. I didn't. So this is a EPC Kayoguchi cross. I'll show you the label here. I think that's the right way. And the nice thing about this is I asked Fred, I said, what do you got that's fragrant? And he didn't hesitate, and he picked this guy out and gave it to me. You know, it's a small yellow flower, which, like I said, isn't my favorite, but the fragrance on this tiny little thing, and this is going to get bigger, and the bloom spike is going to get huge. It's just a great fragrance. So I'm pretty happy with this. So Fred is really good about getting back to you and making recommendations. And this is Fred Clark of Sunset Valley Orchids. He's really quick on getting back with you on email. And this was an incredible recommendation. Again, not my favorite looking flower, but the fragrance makes up for it. So this is great. All right, let me put this guy back. What I want to do, the main thing that I wanted to do today was go over and give the test results, don't turn me off, of what a bee sees. So this is a video that I posted probably a month, 6 weeks ago. And what I did is I have collections of images that I've taken from my various orchids, the flowers in my collection. And then I increased the magnification so that it was just like the center of the flower, very high magnification of what a bee might see if it enters the flower, if it flies towards the flower. And what I then wanted to do was provide a multiple choice test to anyone who was interested, to see if they could identify, based on the close-up image of the flower, what that flower was. I thought it'd be a fun thing to try. Either not too many people like taking tests, or it just wasn't something that people wanted to do. But what I want to do, because I said I would, is I want to share those test results. And Amber S. and Stephen got 9 out of 10. They correctly identified 9 out of the 10 orchids, close-up images that I presented. So what I want to do is go over those results and show the close-up and then a more far-away picture image of those same flowers. So if you want to, you can kind of follow along, take a look at the close-up image, and then I'll give it a few seconds, and then I'll show the image that shows the whole flower. And I thought it was fun to do, but I probably won't be doing it again. It's a lot of work to put this together. Okay, so let's take a picture. Let's take a look at the first flower that was in the test. So this is one, and this is a close-up image, and I like this image because you know, the center of the image, what you can see here is it almost looks like there's a you know, a little I don't know if it's an angel or a devil or whatever it is, but you can see a face in the middle of this image. All right, so this is the close-up image, and this one really wasn't that difficult. If you take a look shown here of the whole flower, this is clearly a phalaenopsis. So I think this was, I wanted to start out with an easy one to do. So if you take a look then at the second image, this one again was a close-up, lots of you know, red and yellow coloration of this, and this also is another one that isn't that difficult. And if you take a look and zoom out at this flower, what you can see is that this is a really nice dark purple cattleya. And I think this was, again, one that was pretty easy to recognize. The third one, so number 3, the close-up image, shown here. This, again, wanted to start out easy. This one wasn't very difficult. And so you can see it's got real classical, you know, spots on here, and it's pretty easy to see what's going on. A zoom out of this image, and you can see that this is flower of a Paphilopetalum. It's my first one that I've got to bloom, so I was really proud of it. But again, pretty easy to see what's going on here. Number 4, again, not that difficult to see, but if you take a look at this one, I like it when the flower itself, when the inside of the flower, there's some really nice spots and splashes of color, and it almost looks like eyes where the anther cap is. And this was another one of those things. If you take a look at this one, again, it should be pretty easy to see that this is at lower magnification, where you can see the flower. This is a phalaenopsis. Now, this is a phalaenopsis that's growing on my date palm in the front of my yard, and this plant right now is close to maximum flowering. So this thing is just loaded. Splashes, cascades of flowers are coming from this plant. This has just a huge number of bloom spikes out on it, and it really is a beautiful plant that I have on the date palm in front of my house. Okay, moving on to number 5. I thought this would give some people problems, but most people guessed what this was and kind of understood what this was. And so this again has lots of spots and some really nice petal you know, convolutions, and it really is kind of a pretty flower. And when you take a look at this at lower magnification, you should be able to easily see that this is a catasetum. And again, this is another one of Fred Clark's creations, one of his crosses. Okay, really nice, lots of spots, and a really nice catasetum. Moving on to number 6, if you take a look at this, again, this shouldn't be, I expected this to give people more problems, but it's because I don't grow too many of these plants successfully. So this was another yellow flowering plant here, small flower, but if you take a look at the lower magnification of number 6, what you can see is that this is a vanda, a really nice, small flowering, fairly prolific yellow flowering vanda. So you should be able to see that here. Going on to number 7. Number 7 I thought would be a little bit more of a challenge, but it ended up it wasn't. Most people were able to figure out what this is. And if you take a look at low magnification of number 7, you can see that it is an Oncidium. And this is actually Sherry Baby. So it's an Oncidium, and apparently enough people have looked at the Cherry Baby close up so that they were familiar with what the flower looks like from how a bee would see it. Number 8, again, this had, I thought, some really nice stripes and colors in it, and it was just really colorful. So I included this in, but also at low magnification, if you take a look, you can see that this was another, and this is indicative, this is another Cattleya. So this is just really a very nice Cattleya, lots of colors, and again, these lines may represent runways for the bees to get in, to find their way. If you take a look at number 9, this was a little tricky because this was at such a high magnification, and it was kind of hard to see, and the flower was actually backlit. But if you take a look at the low magnification of number 9, you can see it's a Dendrobium. And this is another Dendrobium that is growing on the date palm in the front of my house. And the light and the sun played tricks on this, and this was a little challenging for people to identify. But this was a very close-up image of the Dendrobium flower. And so that's what that was. Our last one, number 10, this also created some difficulty, maybe because of what this was. But this has some nice, interesting coloration spots, high magnification. And this is actually, if you take a look at low magnification of this I would have accepted a couple of different answers. So this is Booth Lee Venice, which is a Brassivola Cattleya cross. So it's actually a Maikai Cattleya species cross. So that's the final image that I have for you. I hope you enjoyed going through those test results with me today, and that's all I have. If you're interested in learning a little bit more about what I do, please subscribe to my channel. Once again, I probably won't be posting another video this week because of my involvement in the preparation of the local orchid show that I'm participating in. So, that's all. Happy propagating.